Suspension 2. Now if you've ever watched a Nürburgring fails video, that's the gravel trap you're looking at 99% of the time, as we start to see some moisture in the track again. So maybe there'll be some videos from today coming up. It was me! I'm the one! Oh, wow. Lovely. Bonjour. Welcome to sunny France. Not. I finally made it to the Nürburgring Nordschleife, my first ever time here, and yes, I'm going round. So have a look at some of my laps here. These are my first ever laps. Unfortunately, my day was cut a little short due to food poisoning, but nonetheless, I had a great 2 laps. So have a watch them, I'll talk you through what surprised me. As some more Porsches, GT4s and GT3s come in, which seems to be the car of choice anywhere in Germany at the moment. And the next popular model, other than that, is GR Yarises. They seem to be everywhere. So yeah, it's very much a club of Yarises and Porsches here. I know this track so well on the simulator. It is my favourite track and the one I know best by far. So I'm going to take you through what surprised me as I narrate live going around on the outlap, talk you through the track, and then I'll voice over my flying laps, take you through some of the best moments. And there's one particular moment that I was so amazed by how similar the sim is to reality. If you're not interested in the narration on the outlap, you can skip ahead. There is a timestamp in the description and I'll put the time here, although it is a very interesting guide, very detailed if you are going to be making the trip. You also get to see the conditions of the track for my flying lap. I can't believe I'm truly here at the Nürburgring for my sighting lap. I've driven thousands of laps, no exaggeration, on a simulator here, and it's honestly the track I know best in the world, and yet I've never been. Oh my god, those curbs are high! God, when I clip them in a simulator I don't feel it, but I think I bloody might now. Oh, the undulations, it just flows into Tiergarten. Now, I must admit, I've tried to learn the names of most of the corners, but I'm not particularly good with them, so do forgive me. We're running the Nordschleife layout today, of course. This is where I've watched many a YouTube video, people crossing for those lap record attempts. We go T13. Use that extra track there. Oh, this is just mental. It feels like I'm playing a game still. This is narrower than I thought. When I'm driving GT3s and iRacing, I don't lift at all. Now, it's just been a very foggy and dewy morning, so we're going to have to be careful. I don't know if you can see the drying patches on the circuit. So it's not... Okay, this is just wet. This isn't a drying patch. But we're in the GR Yaris, that famous all-wheel drive rally system that is hopefully going to get us out of some trouble. There's the famous wall. It's all famous. I'm just going to keep saying the word famous. Right, tipping it into here, the compressions just flow. Nearly said another word then. Flow. It's much narrower than it appears on the simulator. Wave at the cameraman. Hello. Hock icon. And then, oh, it is as blind as it seems. Dip down, big compression. Flugplatz. This has been flattened off a couple of years ago because people kept flying into that catch fencing. The one thing that's standing out right now that everyone has told me, but I never truly believed until I got here, is just how up and down the track is. These are big undulations. And when you're going at speed, you're going to feel them. Schwedenkreuz completely blind. Completely. And then there's that little compression bump on the inside. Down into Foxhole, it is wet. Now you're just letting the car flow in between these curbs. Then we get to this huge compression before we begin to climb back up the hill. Up into Adenauer Forst. A tight, twisty, slow section after that incredibly fast Foxhole. And Metzgerfeld, another fast flowing corner with the compression just where you want it. Boom, right there at the apex. Oh, this is going to be so much fun. Down into Callenard. A tight downhill braking zone where you've got to be careful to watch the rear of the car slipping out because you turn in when you're still going down quite a lot. Late apex as it will be washing wide until it grips where it levels out. Piff paff. Again, right where you want it, the compression, I can't believe it. It's like the track's been moulded by thousands and thousands of laps. Now miss, hit, miss. I have missed, I have hit, and I have missed. And this section is looking dry, so again, I may be talking, but the purpose is to, of course, observe on the sighting lap. Slowest corner of the track. Oh, falls away, falls away. Wow. Now we tease it right into Exmüller. This is a steep climb. This is so steep. And then this is where you need to be careful of the rear sliding out because it levels off just as you get on the power. Now down into Bergwerk. Now this is a very, very, very important corner because I will time-lapse this for you. After you get on the power here, you're on the power all the way down here. Commence time-lapse. Bravery corner. Bit of extra track there. We'll see if we use that. And then you tip it in really gently, and this is the first place you're lifting since where I said. And I think you know what's coming up. Oh yes! After Steel Strecker. Are we going to go down into it now? Woohoo! Here we go. Tipping it in. God, it's so much tighter than I realised. Oh, this is just going to be amazing. Wow, surprisingly not bumpy at that speed, but I fear that will change. Now we're getting a bit of moisture back now. There's a dry line, as you can see, as we come up into Hoacht. I love this section, love it. Such a steep climb. Oh. For me, this section just flows, it just works. So you're gently round the right, you're gently round the left. We'll probably be up on this curb, like so, and then up on this curb, like so. That was much smoother than I was expecting, because it just flows, it just works. It's the Nürburgring. Again, section where you might lose the back, so we're going to be careful of that. This is dry. Show off to the fans at Brunchen. Hello. Brunchen 2. So I doubt it today, but it is a possibility that we'll be getting some airtime over here. Whee! And then you brake after you've landed and settled and tip it into Flansgarten. This is completely blind, this left, and then it's not, which makes sense. It goes very light as you tip into this left, so you've got to turn in earlier than you think, account for it to wash, but equally if you clip that curb, it's game over. As we now weave through the Stefan Belofs. Fast, flowing, possibly flat, we'll see. Schwabenschwanz, and then slower again for the left. And the mini carousel. And finally, Galgenkopf. A long right-hander. Careful of the grass on the outside. And then we tighten back up to this compression at the apex and fire down dotting a hoe. Here we go. My first proper lap of the Nürburgring. During my flying laps, I did do some live commentary, and the rest of the lap I'm going to leave uncut so that you can just listen to the engine, listen to the car, to let you know where my head was at. The track was very wet in places, completely dry in places, all over the place. My first ever lap around the track. The car had just been finished with a load of work on it. It was a massive learning curve. My objective was to do nice clean laps and get round and then get to a place where I can build. Overtaking him. Okay, I'm clear in front. Need some temp and everything. First time T13, use the extra track. Oh my god, this feels so surreal. I've never driven on a wet track at all in this car, and the first time happens to be the bloody Nürburgring, mate. That's crazy. Oh, it just works. It just works. Up the curb, off down the curb. Flugplatz. This is Schwedenkreuz. This is wet on the sighting lap. Arenberg. Foxhole. This is wet, this is wet. Or damp, should we say. Wobbly, wobbly. Bit of squeal. Miss, hit, miss.
guy is quick. This guy is the perfect marker. He's slightly slower than my limit, but he's on his limit, and that means I get to follow. Hey, nearly. Oh, just pops in the air. Well, not quite in the air.
Now this is the corner I was talking about when I said I could not believe how close it was to the sim. And on the outlap I mentioned that you have to turn in early here because the track falls away and you don't want to wash wide. But equally, if you clip that curb, it is not going to be a good look. For whatever reason on the simulator, I always turn in too early here and I always get a slide on, and it's just something that I do every lap. I can't seem to correct it and it's sort of just become my racing line. I know it's wrong, but it just works for me. Sort of. Anyway, I got here for the first time on my flying lap and I did exactly the same. Turned in too early, had to ease off the steering, the rear slid, car got a bit nervous, then it settled again, in the exact same way as it does on the simulator. And the sim that I'm using is iRacing, and for a tour of my simulator rig, you can press the card up here, and I'll link it in the description. But yeah, that blew my mind, because that was like driving on muscle memory, even though I'd never truly been there. It's amazing what this modern tech can do now.
Whoa!
As I go down the straight here, look at two things, the speedo and the throttle input. Now the speed is from GPS, so to me when it's showing 140 here, it's showing about 150 on the dash. What I want to point out is that I installed the DT UK tuning box, which I thought was going to remove the speed limiter on the car. Now speed limiters work in different ways. You can have all sorts, ignition cut, you can have ones that might touch the brake slightly, but you can see here, because we've got a throttle input trace, that all it does is ease off the throttle, and it feels very weird when you're doing it because my foot is flat out all the way, and then the car just has massive engine braking and starts slowing down, and then when I get 5 or 6 miles an hour under, it goes flat out again. Very weird. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. With my second lap, I'm going to make another YouTube video which I voice over and narrate. And if you enjoy this on-track content, you can watch this playlist here where I'm racing my classic car this season and I get into some pretty wicked battles. So go and give that a watch now. Please like and subscribe. Thanks.